Okay, so I'm ready to tape it on. I chalked just the bird to show you. See if this will work. Tape it on the top left and the top right. You don't want to tape the bottom because then you won't be able to see when you flip it up like what you've already accomplished. So I would suggest using a different colored chalk because when you're chalking it, you're going to be able to see where you chalked it and where you didn't. So let's see, when I trace over my pencil line, I'm going to trace over mostly the outline. If you remember your details, you could like get some of the details in and then you can just scratch. If you have lots of details, you could just scratch them in once you know what they are. So let's see how this works. I'll do a couple of feathers. Okay, let's see if it went through. Yeah, it did. I don't know if you can see it, but hold it up. So you can see that it made a chalk line print, which you can now, when you're all done, you take the paper off. Or if you're doing it little by little, leave it on. And I'll show you how to use the scratch tool, which is fun. The scratch tool looks like this. It has a point on the end and it curves. Let's see where you can see it. It curves in. So put that curve towards you when you're scratching and use just this angled side of it, the side of it, not the tip. The tip's for when you're going to do the thinner lines, and the side of it's for making wider lines. And you want your bird outline to be pretty wide. So as you scratch, you want those emphasized things. Remember when you're drawing to use the principles and elements, you want to make some things really emphasized by making them bigger. Think about balance with bigger things, and have lots of things that are vertical and diagonal and horizontal in your composition. So let's see if you can see now how it's starting to come out. So I'm doing wider lines on the bird, and then I can hold it by the tip to do just the thinner lines for the more detail, the smaller details. Okay, so you get the idea. And then finally, the last step is going to be to oil pastel. And when you oil pastel, you want to leave a black line, kind of a parallel black line all around what you scratched. Because if you oil pastel right up next to it, you won't see that contrast anymore. The scratch line won't show up. So always leave a little bit of black around everything to show that, to emphasize your scratch lines. Okay, that completes our video on the Scratchboard.